This is an RNZ podcast. No mai whakarongo mai ki te aotai whenua. Welcome to Country Life. I'm Sally Round.
Great to have your company. I'm Duncan Smith. Today, farmers empty out their sheds to raise money for their local community. Cosmos at a huge paddies market on Banks Peninsula.
We chat to two brothers who've battled it out for the Young Farmers title.
And later on, a farm making the most of the power of four. A story about family, self-sufficiency, and how a tough thing like losing your job can mean a new beginning.
But first, to our monthly look at conditions on farms and orchards around the Motu. In Northland, there's enough grazing on hand to keep farmers from cutting into their winter feed. Rain is needed, though. Rate rise proposals are causing uncertainty. Avocado growers are lamenting low returns, and kumara growers are disappointed by recent prices. In Pukekohe, the last few weeks have been notable for stable weather, sunshine and low rainfall. With the aid of irrigation, winter crops have been planted and established without major problems. At this stage, growers say there should be no shortage of fresh vegetables during winter.
In Waikato, grass is belting away. It's been one of the best summers in recent years. Dairy cows are in good shape. Steady rainfall means summer pasture is transitioning well to ryegrass for the winter. The cooler autumn weather has also reduced rates of facial eczema. There's a good volume of gold kiwi fruit coming off in Bay of Plenty. Plenty of avos too, but with low returns things are not looking so rosy there. The labour shortage seen in recent years appears to have abated with a steady supply of RSE workers. Grass growth is certainly adequate for sheep and beef farmers who have yet to feed out.
King Country's grass growth is the envy of surrounding regions. Many farmers are hanging on to lambs. California thistles are also having a great season, much to farmers' annoyance. Market conditions remain a challenge, though, especially with low returns for wool and sheep meat. Farmers are spending half what they would normally on fertiliser as they batten down the hatches. It's a green drought in parts of Taranaki with enough rain to keep pasture green but not growing. Herds are eating into their winter feed requirements, and without good rain soon, many farmers will look to dry off their cows. Milk production is down on last year, but early pregnancy scanning results for dairy cows are looking good, with about 12 to 13% empty or not in calf.
Grass growth has also been good for farmers in Te Tai Rāwhiti. But here too, high input costs and interest rates are putting the pressure on in the background. Fly strike has also been tough this year, with one contact even reporting cases of wiener strike, something he'd never seen before. The grape harvest finished early with good quality grapes but lesser yields. Harvesting of sweet corn, squash and watermelons has wound up, and growers are now busy bringing in broccoli, lettuce and salads. There's plenty on the shop shelves, great for consumers. The quality of fijoas this season is said to be excellent and volumes good. However, prices are back about $1 compared to last year. The apple harvest is underway in Hawke's Bay with still a month or so to go. Quality is up with crunchier, more flavourful and more colourful apples. Labour is easy to come by and pickers and packers are flat out. Pastoral farmers would like to see some rain. Squash is coming off, onions are finished and the maize harvest will soon start. Arable farmers are hurting from poor grain prices. Rising interest rates are a headache for many. $90,000 extra this year in interest for one 400-hectare block.
Parts of southern Manawatu and Horowhenua are very dry, with lots of dairy cows dried off or on once-a-day milking. Things are even more dire for hill country farms. Northern parts of the district feel more comfortable, having had more rain. On sheep farms, the rams are out. It's very dry in Wairarapa, but not the worst drought seen. Cropping farmers have seed in the ground, while many dairy farmers are feeding out and some are talking about drying off. The mood is okay, but again, farmers are feeling the crunch of high costs and lower prices. Talking about crunch, Greytown's inaugural Apple Harvest Festival is on this month. Cider tasting, apple juice, games for the kids, all among the apple trees at Molewood Orchard on the 27th of April.
The Tasman region is struggling with dry weather, so plenty of hay and baleage are being trucked around the region. The Tasman District Council's reduced irrigation quotas because of the very low aquifer levels, making life pretty grim for all. Hop harvesting and drying's finished for the season. The newest varieties in hop gardens are closely monitored to ensure they're fit for purpose and productive. A Tupperware grower says there are some amazing aromas coming from the new plants. Due to the dry summer, farmers in the Marlborough Sounds destocked earlier in the year. There are still surplus lambs needing moving though, but our contact at Waitui says with the ongoing road closure issues and the required barge connections, it's been difficult to get them away. Calf weanings planned in 2 weeks, and overall stock are in reasonable health. A local mussel farmer says his crop's growing well. The harvesting window's set for next summer, but he says the local industry has ongoing problems with sourcing a reliable supply of quality young mussels.
A dairy farmer and rugby player in South Westland says there was a fantastic turnout at Whataroa Rugby Club's centenary last weekend. He farms at Ross and says milk production's up 5% on last year, which was a record season. Pregnancy testing's done and dusted, and TB testing's due to start next week. In a couple of weeks, farmers are looking forward to catching up at Agfest in Greymouth. It's very dry in mid-Canterbury and irrigators are working hard. A Hororata farmer says harvesting's all but done with only hybrid radish to go. A dairy farmer in South Canterbury's Fairlie Basin says conditions are also dry, despite getting dribs and drabs of rain over the past 10 days. Due to a lack of quality grass, cows are on palm kernel as silage reserves are being held back for late winter.
Vineyards in central Otago are well into grape harvesting. At Bannockburn, picking started 5 weeks ago for sparkling wines and rosé, and last week Pinot Noir started coming off. Yields are looking good and the fruit's clean. And finally to Southland, and a farmer near Balclutha has had the fire going. She had 50 millimetres of rain in the gauge last week, but it really wasn't needed. Grain harvesting's in full swing, but with the rain it's been a bit stop-start, and harvested grains have to go through dryers. Grass growth's slow, so dairy farmers are supplementary feeding cows. Luckily, there's ample winter baleage in reserve. Rising 2-year-old cattle and lambs have been going to the works, and ewes are being shorn and crutched ready for the ram.
This is Country Life on RNZ National 101 FM.
Our guests this week are two brothers who recently came up against each other in their local young farmer competition. Callum and Archie Woodhouse took out the top 2 spots of the East Coast FMG Young Farmer competition held in Masterton recently. However, it was the younger brother, Archie, who ultimately came out on top, besting his brother and other aspiring young farmers to snag a spot in the national finals later this year. They spoke with Janina Schwanecker about the running sibling rivalry.
Do you two want to introduce yourselves?
My name is Archie Woodhouse and I am 22 years old and I've just come back to the family farm after 4 years studying agriculture at Lincoln University.
I'm Callum Woodhouse, 24 years of age, and I'm currently working as a product specialist for Halter Limited, and I'm based up in the Waikato at the moment.
Now, Archie, I understand you've beat out other aspiring young farmers, including your brother Callum, to take out the East Coast FMG Young Farmer of the Year. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, it was cool to get a win there. It was a bit intimidating knowing that he's breathing down my neck, but yeah, it was good to meet a whole lot of different people from different clubs and test our skills up against each other.
How did you feel for your younger brother taking the top title, though, Callum?
Yeah. No, it's awesome. I couldn't have been happier to see him take it out, and I think it's exciting the journey that he's got ahead, and we'll be able to help him out as much as possible with that.
Was it your first time taking part in the competition?
No, I previously competed in the Tasman region when I was at university, but this is the first time competing in the East Coast now that I'm living and working up here on the family farm.
So you both come from a farming family, and I understand you both studied at Lincoln, is that right?
Yeah, we're both brought up here on a sheep and beef farm just out of Eketahuna, and then we've both been to Lincoln University. Callum's a few years older than me, but we both studied down there, and then this year we've both been back home on the family farm, which is nice to be able to work with family again and sort of give it a go for farming.
And did you find that the sibling rivalry was a help or a hindrance in this case?
I think it was a help, knowing that Callum's very switched on, both practically and academically. I think it was nice having a bit of familiar competition.
And you, Callum?
I think it was a healthy competition there. It was surprising, even though having grown up on the farm together, our experiences elsewhere have led to different skill sets. It was cool to see that play out on the day.
What was your favourite part of the competition?
Probably actually the exam, because having come off the back of 4 years at university, I was pretty comfortable sitting down and articulating my ideas and getting it down on paper. So I really did enjoy that. But by the same token, I enjoyed the practical side of it. Having been on farm for a couple of months now, it was nice to put some of those practical skills to use in things like fencing, which was part of day-to-day of farming, really.
And you, Callum?
Well, I enjoyed the farmlet. It was real fun, and it puts you're working under pressure to test. It's probably the part I enjoyed the most of the farmlet.
And was there a least favourite skill set that you had to try out?
There was a fisheries module, which was pretty tricky because I'm more of a land-based animal.
And you, Archie?
There were some modules that pushed me a bit outside my comfort zone. For example, there was a horse-based module, something that I've had very little experience with. But it was nice to be challenged and work out maybe some areas I need to brush up on before Grand Final. Grand Final is the 11th to 13th of July in Hamilton.
That'll be a nice chance for you and your brother to catch up. I understand Callum's just moved to Waikato.
It'd be good to go up there and catch up with him again.
And what's next for you both now?
Yeah, so the next 3 months will be a bit of preparing and a bit of studying and sort of learning as much as I can before Grand Final in July, which will be great. So it'll be a busy next few months, just figuring out sort of all the areas to brush up on and using some contacts to learn some new things. It'll be touching up on some practical skills and learning some new skills that potentially could be tested on, and then again learning a bit of theory, agricultural general knowledge is an important part of it, and just trying to sort of expand my knowledge base and be in the best position to have a crack at Grand Final.
And what's next for you, Callum?
For me, I'm based up in the Waikato for the next 6 months, working with Halter, doing R&D. But Archie's not going to be far away, so be able to help him out with his preparations towards Grand Final.
It was lovely speaking with you both, and congratulations again.
Thanks. Cheers for taking the time to hold the interview.
Thank you so much for your time. It was great to talk. Thank you very much.
Archie Woodhouse and his brother Callum Woodhouse, speaking with Janina Schwanneker after the recent East Coast FMG Young Farmer competition. Archie's soon off to the FMG Young Farmer of the Year Grand Final in Hamilton, where he'll battle it out against other young farmers from around the country in July.
Rural communities are well served by clubs like the Lions. There are about 9,500 members in Aotearoa and the Pacific Islands. On Easter Sunday, the Akaroa Bays Lions Club have a fundraiser, a huge paddy's market and white elephant on the Akaroa Recreation Ground. When Cosmo Kentish Barnes turned up, bargain hunters were checking out long rows of unwanted bric-a-brac on the cricket pitch. Just before the outdoor auction began, he chatted with organiser Tony Mason.
People donate various items of their treasures through the year. We collect those up and then we display them all here in the lines, as you see, and then we have 2 auction trucks that go up the lines and people bid and we sell it off.
Yes. How long does it take to collect all these things?
We collect this virtually from tomorrow onwards, right through the year, so people ring up and we come and pick it up and just put it in the shed.
So it's all donated from mainly people locally?
Mainly local people, yes.
What are some of the more interesting things up for sale today?
Well, we've got the yacht here, the Flying Fox yacht, which is an unusual item. It'll be interesting to see who bids for that. But generally it's stuff that a person doesn't want and hopefully somebody else will treasure.
This yacht here that someone has donated should get a few $100, I imagine.
Well, we would hope so. I mean, we'll sell it for whatever somebody wants to pay for it on the day.
Yes. Lots of old things here. I saw a box of old bottles and golf clubs and bicycles, and there's a bit of everything, isn't there?
We can never predict what sells. We went through a stage there we weren't accepting golf clubs because they never sold. Then we had 5 or 6 sets last year and they all sold very well. In fact, one enterprising young person bought them for, I think, $2, cleaned them up and sold them for about $250 on Trade Me. So
Smart. And what happens to the money that you raise from this market?
well, this market here doesn't have a specific beneficiary, so we raise this basically to have in our coffers to be available to anybody else who needs it. Yeah.
And from what I can see here, most of the Lions members are slightly older people.
Yes, we do have a fairly aged membership. There's about 40, 45, 46 members in the Akra.
That's a lot.
It is quite a lot, but a lot of those are heading towards the 80s. Yeah, we're not a club of young people.
Now we've got, 4 cocks and 3 hens. Is that right? Is that how you'd describe it, Eric?
2 hens and 3 chickens.
Oh, 3. Oh, okay. Oh, the hens. I couldn't see. I'm looking at the wrong end here, sir. Away we go. Who's got what? $20 a lot, and away we go. 20 I got.
Now there's a big marquee in the corner of the recreation ground here. What's happening in there?
That's the White Elephant stall. That's all the kitchen appliances, crockery, artwork, linen, plates, jewellery, records, DVDs, all that sort of stuff there.
Next to it is the Lions Barbecue, which I guess is a good fundraiser as well.
Yes. We last year I think we sold 750 sausages, so we're hoping to do the same again this year. Being a bit cooler.
A good money spinner.
Yep.
So how long has this market been going for here?
Well, be 20 years plus. I can't remember when they first started, but it's an annual event, and most of the locals know that it's going to happen and turn out for it.
And how did you get involved with the Lions Club?
Oh, somebody just asked me if I wanted to join, and I said yes, okay, and I've only been a member for about 3 years.
What's your line of work?
Well, I was a rural valuer to start off with, and then I finished up working for Pinegal Guinness in their trust department. I was with them for 28 years and retired about 10 years ago.
And I've noticed there are a few farmers around who are volunteering today.
There are quite a few farmers in our group, yes. So we've got that rural sort of ability to turn up with tractors, chainsaws and that sort of thing for working bees, which is quite handy.
And I tell you what, we got a portable toilet. $5 bed, $5 portable toilet. Who'd like it? Couple of dollars anywhere. Couple of dollars. Buys it.
My name's Hugh Waghorn and I've lived in Akara for a while now, and I joined Lions Club because it's the only organisation I've ever belonged to that is all about having fun and making money for the community. So we get together today and stand around and yarn and tell each other lies about how good and clever we all are.
I guess all the hard work's done now, is it?
Yes, like today I'm auctioneer, so my job is familiarising myself with all the stuff that I'm going to have to sell. So we've got Colin Smith who just comes in, he's the professional auctioneer.
Will he be guiding you through the process?
Well, we have 2 trucks going because we have too much stuff to get through in one day. So we have the professional guys on one truck and the amateur guys on the other truck.
Who's with you today?
I've got Philippa training up as our new potential auctioneer. So she's probably our youngest member of our club.
Ironing board! Everyone needs an ironing board. Can anyone make me a bid for this ironing board with the fancy cover? $1? Anybody? Going. Gone! No, we don't want that one either.
Ian, how long have you been involved with the Lions Club?
Probably about 38 years. I had 5 or 6 years in Hamner Springs and then came down here and joined these guys.
What sort of things have you done in terms of community service?
We do firewood every year for all the old fellas and ladies around town. So I've sort of been involved with organising that. Because we probably chop 10 or 12 cord of firewood a year and give it away.
We have a big welfare area that we work on, so people that are ill or have lost a loved one, Lions will rally around them, help them out with different things, and Ian does a lot of that work. And that's with the firewood, it's sort of welfare, people who are struggling a little bit to heat their homes over the winter.
Ian, what do you do?
I'm a farmer. I was meant to be retired, but it's sort of half worked out. We've got a son that's on the farm, and every now and again he rings up, I need a bit of a hand, so sort of roar over the hill, but I probably go there 3 or 4 days a week.
Where's the farm?
It's in Pigeon Bay.
How are things going on the farm at the moment?
Oh, yeah, it's a bit challenging. It's dry, but I've seen it worse. Boys on the case, unloading stock, unloaded early,
Sheep and beef?
Sheep and beef. So prices are abysmal. Costs have gone up hugely, fertiliser, interest rates, all 9 yards. So, yeah.
So quite handy that your son's got you to come along and help out. I guess it's free labour.
Sort of, yes.
But it's also good for Ian to get away from farming and come and join Lions and just completely isolate himself for a day from his farming life.
That's really why I joined. All I knew over there was the local farmers, and coming into town I met a whole range of new people and different trades and got to know a whole range of people, which was really quite good. I better get to work. I'm the barbecue boss. I'll be getting grumpy.
Yeah, they're all standing around with their hands in their pockets.
You better get there quickly.
Thanks, Ian.
Okay.
And we got a Honda X bowling club, only used on Sundays after the game apparently, and it was used for towing rather than mowing because it hasn't got a blade on it, has it? Is that correct? Somebody started before, go on, start it now. Good on you, Tony. Hey, look at that. Away we go. Listen to that. Thank you very much. Up we go, and I tell you what, it's purring like a kitten.
Hugh, are you still working or have you retired?
Yeah, my children would tell me that I'm retired or tired. Yeah, we run a little tourism business here, and my kids have taken that over, so that's all working well. It gives me more time to spend it across the road in the bowling club, which is the holding paddock for the cemetery, and Lions Club, which is probably not much better.
Tony was saying that you've also been a farmer.
Yes, just sheep and beef.
Yep. Tough business nowadays.
It is, yes. I think they're going through the worst time they've ever had, and it's something that the Lions Club would probably be looking at, some of the farmer welfare, because they're under so much stress, organising get-togethers, and it's important that the farmers, because they are going through, not only it's a dry spell, but the prices are probably the worst they've ever been. It's important that we keep them together, talk to them.
What have we got here? A paddleboard. Right, up we go. I want to tell you what, who's got the paddleboard and we got the paddle. Up we go. What's your bid on this one, buyers? $50 anyway out. 50 I got, 50 to bid, 50 it is. Take a $10 raises. I got 50, but I got over 50 to bid. That's $50 nobody bid. 50 buys it right here. Thank you. Come and get your prize.
Now, Tony, weather-wise, there's a bit of drizzle, but hopefully that's going to clear.
We hope it will clear. The weather's been a bit variable lately, so we've been a bit lucky. We put the marquee up on Thursday. If we left it till Friday, we would have had trouble because it was blowing a gale and raining, but the Lions own the marquee and they hire that out.
We head over to the White Elephant Marquee to find out what's happening inside. Now, this is the place to be because it's nice and dry and full of treasures.
I'm Jo.
Hi, Jo.
Yes. So the boxes came in here this morning at 6:30 and we have been unpacking antique jars, cutlery, we have crockery, we have games, jigsaws, Christmas decorations, and these girls here do all the china and unpack all the china. Nigel.
Now, what are you doing here, Nigel?
Well, I'm a Lion. I'm a good local, working with the community, and this is an annual event. It's probably the biggest white elephant sale in Canterbury annually.
This is a big marquee?
It is. Well, it's not big enough because there's boxes out there that we can't even get in here. Yeah, and the auction's always been very popular. The only problem is you get excited by something and you've got to try and get it home. I bought a piano here 35 years ago for my daughter for $5, and it probably cost me $100 to get it back to Christchurch.
Have you come across anything that's worth a lot of money?
I've put aside a piece here, a little gold charm bracelet, which we won't put out here, obviously. We'll get a better price for that.
Yes. How much will that sell for, do you think?
I reckon about $100.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yep. So, no, it's a very good way of raising money, and it's a very valued session once a year here at Easter.
Tony, how many people do you think will attend this market this morning?
Well attended. We get anywhere between probably 600 and 1,000 people will turn up through the day. Not necessarily all at once, but they drift in and out.
Once this is all over, do you all get together and have a cup of tea?
Yes, we have a debrief, but really it's just a drink and a chat, and that usually happens by 3, 4 o'clock, so it's usually all wrapped up by 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
So it's the whole day?
Yeah, starting at 6 right through to 4, so it's a long day.
Yeah.
Yep.
How much money are you hoping to raise from the White Elephant and the Paddy's Market here?
Well, we would hope to make, north of 14,000.
Somebody hang that up
Now, Joe, what happens to the things here that don't sell?
We pack them up, they go through to the local opportunity shops in Christchurch, and if there's anything that they don't want, we either pay for the dumping or we bring it home again to dispose of, so nothing's wasted. So
It must be quite rewarding doing this service, really.
The Lions, for instance, one of their raffles this year went directly to our local school, our high school, so the street raffle, I think it was 5,000 or 6,000, was just a straight donation to the school. But lots of people apply in the district for funding, for travel, for children with sports and things like
so
that.
people can approach the local Lions Club.
Yep, and the Lions also gave a lot of money to the hospital up here, our local hospital. Go and interview Lil, because she's got some lovely things there. Lil, show that man what we sell.
These are called Easies, and they were around about 60 years ago. They wouldn't fit me, but they're elasticated corsetry. Corsetry, I would call it.
They look quite sophisticated.
They're very uncomfortable.
Who's going to buy those?
Somebody will, for fun.
They're collectibles, I guess.
They're very unique, yeah. And this dress is probably 50 years old.
How would you describe it?
Orange bri nylon, pretty tacky, horrible fabric, but it's very retro.
So at the moment, the general public can't come in because you're still sorting things out.
At 10 o'clock they can come in.
Come 10 o'clock, is it a mad rush?
Mad. And there's lots of people who love linen. They buy some of the old towels, stuff for their animals, and they just pile in here and grab everything very quickly. And it's a shambles. Love your program, by the way. Listen to it every Saturday morning in bed.
Yeah, well, you would have been up way earlier than Country Life this morning.
Yeah, we were, so we didn't hear it this morning, but we'll listen to it later.
Pip Mason is coordinating the White Elephant Sale.
People have been fantastic bringing us stuff. It's just been amazing, really, and it's surprising, really, what people buy. You know, there always seems to be something for somebody, which is wonderful. I mean, we take all the stuff and we think, but no, a lot of it goes. So.
And you've got quite a big team in here.
We have. We've got about 24 people working in here today. We'll let people in, and prices, just use your own discretion.
Lots of bartering, I like it.
If you want to, barter away furiously. Yes, no! Here they all are. They've been queuing in the rain since about 9 o'clock.
And everyone's ready with their little cash aprons?
We've got our little aprons with all our cash in it. There's no prices put on anything. And, yeah, you'd be surprised how much goes.
Hopefully you'll make heaps of cash.
Hopefully we will, because the money goes straight back into the community.
Pip Mason there in the White Elephant Marquee at the Paddy's Market on Banks Peninsula. Cosmo was also talking to organiser Tony Mason and other volunteers from the Akaroa Bays Lions Club.
Hi, I'm Sam Neill. I'm here at Two Paddocks, and you're listening to Country Life on RNZ, my favourite show.
I'm taking you now to a small but fertile block of land on the outskirts of New Plymouth to meet a family who've discovered a love for growing food. Jane and Steve started off with the aim of being self-sufficient, but thanks to COVID and their daughter Morgan being made redundant from her job in the tech industry, their farmlet has morphed into a budding commercial market garden with Morgan at the helm.
Hi Steve, hello. You've got the zero emissions vehicle there.
Two zero emissions vehicles.
Have you just done some deliveries?
No, I've just been out walking the dogs.
Yeah.
This look perfect dog kennel.
Oh yes.
And delivery vehicle.
That's Jane Allen and Steve Kane. They'd just pulled up outside their home as I arrived.
And Aidan.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hi Aidan. Yeah, met.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a team.
Well, it is a team.
It is, but yeah.
Yeah.
She's the driver.
Morgan will tell you all about it, because we've been here for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Morgan and Aidan, well, they weren't going to be living with us. This was our place, and really for self-sufficiency, so we developed it all for that. And then Morgan will tell you during COVID, they came and lived here and started to get into the garden, and Morgan started her own project.
And I've come to find out more about that project and how their daughter Morgan and her husband Aidan Mitchell came to be on this 1.6 hectare lifestyle block in Brixton on the northern Taranaki coast. As her mum said, it's Morgan driving the venture called Clarty Produce. She's gone from one start-up to another, from the world of tech to the world of growing food.
was during COVID. I fell in love with the garden. And at that time we were travelling in Mexico, and then we had to come home because of COVID, and then we moved back in here, and then it was autumn, which is a really busy time in the garden, so we got right into it, and it was locked down and we were unemployed. So we were just doing full-time gardening, and then we moved to Wellington, and I went back to my tech job.
Morgan ended up losing that job, but she was ready for a change.
Getting made redundant really pushed me to start the market garden. I'd been thinking about it since we moved back, and I did an organic horticulture course at Land-Based Training.
Late 2022, you finished that up?
Yeah.
And then you started really going into the garden full-time, putting things into practice, expanding, and then...
Yeah, the redundancy was really the
And
push.
that was the kicker, wasn't it? That was...
to be like, okay, you're going to do this as a business now.
Yeah, you've been talking about it, and that was kind of the nudge you needed, wasn't it?
And Aidan, are you keen on the horticulture side of things as well? You have a full-time job, don't you?
Yes, yeah, I do have a
Outside
full-time
of
job.
this.
If you had asked me sort of 8-9 years ago, this is what I would be sort of easing into, I would have told you being crazy, but I love it. It's just the lifestyle, the connection with nature, the seasons. I think it's really healthy for physical and mental health.
And the aim is for you to get into this full-time as well?
I think long term that is the goal, is that we can be sustainable here doing what we love, selling fruit and veg to friends and family, and sustaining an income and building a community around that.
At the moment you're the cash cow though?
Yes, at the moment I'm the cash cow. So work from home Wednesdays, it's quite nice to feel a little bit more in touch with everything, and I'm the sort of the chief harvester, so after work I'll come home and look at the courgettes and the tomatoes and all the things that need daily harvests.
And I'm still doing 10 hours a week in the tech industry. But
A quarter of the block is being grazed by Dexter cattle. On the rest, there are 100 young avocado trees and beds of vegetables, fruit trees, compost bins and a worm farm, a patch of experimental blueberries and the odd more unusual plant.
it's got beautiful soil. They call it the Golden Triangle. It's all along the coast, but and then up the top near the mountain of soil.
And we can see the mountain.
Yeah, we
just
can
picking up.
see the.
It's a beautiful,
see the
clear
mountain.
day today.
This is one of my favourite spots for watching the mountain and the sunset here with the mountain as well. And we're close to the sea as well, so we've got a really our own little kind of tropical climate here with the sea and then the mountain, and so we can grow a lot of stuff that you can't grow closer to the mountain or a lot
We're
of
quite
other
immune to
places.
the frost
Yeah, we don't
as well.
get many frosts.
So we're a bit luckier. Our seasons can be slightly longer than some other places, and it allows. That's why we have 100 avocado trees. It's a little bit more of a good spot for those types of fruit and veg.
Now we're just going into the main growing area that we converted about 4 months ago. So it's still very new, this area.
Half the paddock is in avocado trees, and they're almost ready to start producing.
They're actually more dwarf avocado trees, so we've planted them closer together. We'll keep them a certain height and we'll prune them a lot so that you don't need to use ladders, things to extend to pick. It'll be a lot easier. No cherry pickers. And so eventually they'll actually kind of merge into it'll be like an avocado hedge all around.
The name Clarty Produce is a nod to Morgan's Scottish heritage. Clarty means dirty, especially in the sense of getting covered in mud. They're in their third season getting their hands in the soil. Their first vegetables went in last spring, and the idea is to use organic principles.
So we've grown organically on the property since they bought the property.
8 years ago?
Yeah.
But you're not certified?
We're not certified? No. So we can't say we're organic when we sell or anything.
But you're not using any sprays?
No. And we make all our own compost and fertiliser and everything as well. So we try not to buy in anything. We've got like a bit of a closed loop system.
So I think a really important thing to note as well is this is a lot of the first time this paddock's been used to grow vegetables. So that's kind of probably given us maybe a false sense of security of how good the soil is because it hasn't been grown in before, so it's all the nutrients are there. That's why our courgettes did amazingly well. I've never seen courgette plants that big in my life. If I miss a day of harvest, they're marrows. So it'll be good to kind of do a lot of crop rotation, keep that soil health going as we expand into the field next door, which we're solarising at the moment.
And solarising, you've put down some black plastic just to kill off all those things that you don't want.
Yes, exactly.
And keep the good stuff.
So ideally we wouldn't want to have plastic, but we've just found that in terms of the heat and just covering it, and as we grow
Better than spraying for us.
Yeah, way better than spraying. As we grow things, we kind of need to have some quick fixes.
Where do you get your knowledge from? Are you talking to people or are you online?
A lot of different places. I like to read. I read a lot. I get it from people I talk to, like my mum, other people at the farmers market, everyone I did the horticulture course with, and the teachers from the horticulture course as well. I like YouTube videos, TikTok, so basically any podcast. I consume any kind of media and just get it from everywhere.
It's been a year of experimentation, growing kumara a little later than most and trialling different types of blueberries.
So we even find that we have other little microclimates within the microclimate, so growing on the other side of the property that's really sheltered where you can grow bananas. So our goal is diversity. So we've got a few things in for winter already. We've got a lot of different brassicas. We've got Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, broccoli, and all different types of those within that as well. So you'll see we've got broccoli here, and this is cabbages in here. We've got our coriander patch here, which was all our seed-saved coriander from spring and summer. So we let it go to seed and then collected all the seeds, and then I just threw it down really, and here we go. And I just this morning I sowed a bunch of seeds as well for kale and silver beet. We've got leeks and celery going too.
And so you'll be supplying the farmers market with these winter veg throughout the winter?
Yes, yeah.
You'll have enough to do that?
Yes, we should do. Maybe not every single week. The beauty of the farmers market is you can kind of take what you have when you have it. And that's why the farmers market's like a good outlet for when you start growing.
So you don't have to commit to going once a week?
No, you don't have to commit, which is amazing. I think that's a really good thing they do to make it more accessible to everyone and kind of encourage people to start growing.
Yeah, especially for the smaller growers, as we don't have a lot of produce and we're trying to expand, that every second week's kind of more appropriate for us. And Morgs was doing veggie boxes for a little while as well, so we took a break from the farmers market and we had 10 subscriptions to our veggie box that we delivered every Tuesday in our e-van.
I called that the summer produce box, and now summer's kind of come to an end. We're pulling out all the summer veg, planting in the autumn one. I hope to be able to offer a year-round veggie box once we've got more space to be able to supply that many people with that many different vegetables every single week.
Yes, and I imagine that is the trick, isn't it? To know what's coming up, that you can actually supply that amount of food.
Yeah, because it's about 5 to 7 different vegetables every week. We've always said self-sufficiency first and then sell the excess, and that's been really great, especially now with the price of food. There's a melon there that needs harvested, Aidan, in the middle.
Oh, yep.
That one might be a bit past it.
For the chickens. So that's the thing, nothing ever goes to waste on the farm, because we'll either eat it ourselves or sell it if it's up to standard, or we'll feed the cows or the chickens. So we never feel bad. Well. Never feel bad about waste. It's always going back to the earth.
Oh, your chicken friend's following us. These crates here are used for the harvest, or are they composting bins?
This is the compost setup. Almost went past the compost. So we do hot compost. We've actually got about 4 different types of compost that we do. I have a worm farm that I use the worm wee when I'm planting to dip it in and give it like a boost before it goes into the ground when I'm transplanting, and also use the vermicast for a really rich fertiliser. And then we do hot compost, which is these bins here. That's a bit stinky.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Very alive.
Very alive.
And then we have our chicken compost as well. So we just chuck all the weeds into the chicken coop, and the chickens turn it all over constantly, and then eventually that becomes nice soil as well. So that's kind of most of our composting methods. This is a loofah plant.
What's a loofah plant?
So it's this is actually an experiment. It's our first time growing it, but this is one plant and it's just gone crazy. So these can become like your cleaning scrubbing brushes. You chop them into bits. You can use it in the shower, or you can use it for cleaning dishes, that kind of thing.
The actual fruit that comes off it.
Yeah, so you dry it out, and it's like a wiry kind of material.
It looks like a huge, big cucumber.
Yes, it's the same family as cucumber.
And are you going to be producing those loofahs?
Maybe. We'll see how we go first.
Another string to your bow.
Another experiment that we have ongoing.
We like to try new things.
Anything we can do to cut out buying at the moment we use the coconut fibres to maybe scrub dishes and things, but if we can use a loofah or have a loofah in the shower, then...
And then sell them at the farmer's market too as a bonus, so...
Bit of a novelty. The chicken seems to like it as well.
Still following us around. And there's also ashwagandha in here, so we were experimenting with ashwagandha as well, growing that, which is another one of those plants that like that warm tropical kind of weather, so we've got a good climate for ashwagandha.
And is that something you eat?
It's a medicinal herb. It's meant to be really good for like the nervous system and sleep, and so you can grind the roots or you can do the leaves in tea. So there's lots of that, yeah. And we're also growing the plants and selling the plants because you can't really get them anywhere.
We've reached the roadside, and this is your little roadside stall.
Yes, so it's currently shut.
Yeah, we had it open for, I think it was about 5 months, with no issues at all. And then, we had the money box stolen, and then just a few little bits and pieces. And we thought, it's kind of the end of the season now anyway. We'll just close it and focus on other areas while we're still expanding.
So the distribution of your harvest, this is obviously one of the things you need to get right so that you can continue to keep doing what you're doing. Have you sort of come to any conclusions yet?
I think the boxes are the best business method. Farmers market is best for flexibility, so we'll keep going with the farmers market. And also I love the community vibe of the farmers market and chatting to people, but it is a big couple of days and takes up your whole weekend, so that's kind of the downside there. And I haven't been marketing the website though, but I think if I did want to push sales through the website, I could push a little bit harder with marketing and get it going.
Now, the ultimate aim of this is to be financially self-sustainable as well, I guess, and you coming on full-time, Aidan.
Yep, yeah, definitely. That'll be our long-term goal. And Morgs and I, we like to spend a lot of time together, and we find that things are less of a chore if we're doing them together. So I quite like that feeling. So sometimes when I'm at work, I kind of wish I was at home helping Morgan plant the potatoes or something like that. It just kind of just is a bit more fulfilling kind of work.
It's the lifestyle that we want. Don't you
miss the city life? You were in a busy job, in a busy role, a busy office, lots of people around, I guess. Now you're here on your own, or when Aidan's not here.
I don't miss that at all. It is quite isolating sometimes working on the garden by yourself. That's the good thing about being on this property as well. There's always people around, like my family, and that's really nice. And then the farmers market helps with the community feel. But that's something I definitely want to work on, is building more of a community around the market gardening and a network.
In the past, we've actually hosted some help-ex or workaways. So a couple of weeks ago, we had a really lovely French couple, and so they came in and stayed with us for a week while we fed them, and Morgs got to work with them in the garden every day, doing lots of weeding, lots of tasks that we've had on our to-do list that we never quite got to. But that was quite fun. We would like to do a bit more of that going forward, so we can host them and sort of meet new people, and they can learn things from us and we can learn things from them. Sort of share our lifestyle with other people.
It's lucky you have got this access to land, isn't it?
Yes, oh, that's the biggest thing. Yeah, we would have had to rent, and then there's always risks with renting for doing something like this, especially you put so much effort into the soil and regenerating the soil and get it to a really good thing, and then they can just be like, your lease is up.
Now, you mentioned before about how COVID had changed your outlook.
Yes, so COVID made me really think about my role in society. I didn't feel like I was really doing a necessary job for the way everything works. I do something more physical with my hands and seeing the outcome and being able to feed people, and something that's necessary for survival a little bit.
A shift in thinking for you.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
After checking out the beehive and the food forest, multi-layers of strawberry plants, blueberry bushes and bigger fruit trees, we head to the house to taste some of the produce.
What have we got here, Jane?
Well, we've got some blueberry muffins from our freshly picked blueberries, and Morgan's grown this beautiful honeydew melon, so we're going to have a little bit of that with our glass of water. And we've got some of our honey that Steve and I just took off last week from the bees, which is very yummy.
Ooh, looking forward to trying it. Now, I've just been hearing about your desire for self-sufficiency when you came here. Just tell me a little bit about why you came.
Probably all starts why we came to New Zealand. That was always our dream, and I don't think we'd have managed self-sufficiency in Scotland, would we, Steve? So, yeah. So it's taken a long time to get here. And
when did you come from Scotland?
We've been here for 32 years. Still a little bit of an accent.
And what did you think of Morgan's idea to come back and actually make something of this commercially?
Oh, fabulous. So glad that she decided that, because really the block for just Steve and I was too big. She's kind of taken over most of the veggies now, which frees me up to do the avos, the blueberries, bananas, the hive, the chickens, the cows, all the other things.
It's a real team thing now, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, it's so fabulous now that we can actually sit down to a meal, and we get so much joy, don't we, when we look at the plate and go, our breakfast, our potatoes, our eggs, our avos, everything's we've produced ourselves. A lot of people say to me, that's come a long way from medicine to work, doing self-sufficiency and working in the garden all the time. But for me, it's all about the same thing, and it's all about health. And before I was at ambulance at the bottom of the cliff, and working, in the garden you're going right back to where health starts, and that's in the soil, growing our food, the food we eat, and that is what, makes us brings us our good health, both mentally and physically. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, second that. And Steve, your journey to the garden is slightly different, isn't it?
Slightly different, yes. So I've always worked in oil industry, and I've always been interested in growing vegetables, and I've always had a little veggie plot going when I could, so it's...
Just say, because Steve, while I was doing medicine, Steve took a couple of years out from work, and so he was at home with the kids as babies, young ones, and he was the gardener then. He did all our veggies.
Yeah, but my role here is tractor driver and
fisherman,
tree cutter downer, and
you provide the fish.
all the maintenance tasks. Yeah.
I don't know if Morgan talked to you that we talked about, more going back to intergenerational living rather than families all splitting up and doing their, little thing. And that, in the future, if Morgan and Ian have family, it's nice to have us around as the grandparents so close to help with that. And vice versa, Steve and I, we like to get off to Scotland now in our retirement for a couple of months, and we can leave the place because they can just look after the place while we're away. So it really works out, for everyone.
And Morgan was talking about how COVID was a big eye-opener for her in terms of her goals in life.
Yeah.
What about for you?
Well, for us it was interesting because the whole point of us becoming self-sufficient was that we could see in the future there were, things are going to happen. And really we were future-proofing ourselves. So solar power, electric fan, all our veggies here. So when COVID hit for us, we're set up for it. We didn't need to go to the supermarket. And it was lovely for me because then I actually had Morgan and Aidan back here, so I had more family around, and we were just out in the garden doing our thing. So, I was just feeling so thankful and thinking, I'm so glad we took this step to future-proof ourselves, because we are so fortunate and lucky that we weren't really affected by COVID, but so horrendous to see, how that had an effect, everywhere else and globally.
Jane Allen. You also heard from Steve Kane, their daughter Morgan Kane and Morgan's husband Aidan Mitchell. You can find Morgan and Aidan at the Taranaki Farmers Market at their Clarty produce stall. We've got photos too of the team on our webpage. Head to rnz.co.nz/countrylife.
Well, that's all we've got time for today, but we do love to hear from you, so if you've got story ideas or other suggestions, drop us a line at country@rnz.co.nz. Bye now.
Ka kitea.